Manisha Khemlani. She has qualified as a physiotherapist from KEM Hospital with a master's degree in neurophysiotherapy from Sydney. Neurophysiotherapy is a very highly specialized field of management of patients who have neurological disorders, which can sometimes lead to problems like in everyday activities like walking, getting dressed, feeding. Even common things can become difficult to do. Dr. Manisha Khemlani left Australia in 1999 to join Chinmaya Mission in India. She has served humanity by giving full-time seva in Chinmaya Mission. She actively participated in the village development program by working extensively in the remote villages of Himachal Pradesh. Due to her untiring efforts, there is an excellent rehabilitation unit in Sidbari, Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Intijad promised us to take us to Sidbari. We would like to go. Dr. Manisha is very keen in empowering women of our country. As director of Chinmaya Seva Center, she has carried out vocational training programs for women in the art of sewing, handloom weaving, and carpet making. This has helped the local women to stand up on their own feet and be self-reliant. Dr. Manisha was invited to join Central Chinmaya Mission Trust at the head office of the Chinmaya Mission worldwide in 2004 as the Deputy CEO and then as the COO. Today we are proud to welcome amongst us, she is now the CEO of the Chinmaya Mission worldwide, of the Central Chinmaya Mission Trust. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Manisha Khemlani, who is going to talk to us on a very interesting topic, who are our role models. There's an unusual twist at the end of it. I welcome Dr. Manisha.
Hello everyone. We'll start with the traditional way that we started Chinmaya Mission. I'll welcome you all with a Hari Om, and we'll say a quick prayer and then I will start. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhanaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. First, I'd like to thank Sri Hinduja Ji, who is a trustee and of Central Chinmaya Mission Trust, and with whom I have worked very closely since I joined CCMT, as we say in short, in 2004, and under whose guidance I myself have learned a lot about working in this organization. And also Sharat Bhai, who's been our statutory auditor in Central Chinmaya Mission Trust. So thank you for inviting me. This is giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts that I have as I've grown through life in Mumbai and other parts of the world. So the topic for today is, who is our role model? Who is your role model? Who is my role model? So first, these things keep coming to my mind, and so therefore when we were discussing, I thought this would be a nice topic to think more about, more for me, and then share the thoughts. First is, why do we need a role model? Do we actually need a role model in our lives? See, you know, when we live, we always need some ideal in life. We need something to look up to. We need to have some goals, something to look forward to. So we need to have some ideal. Why is it that we need to have some ideal? It is psychologically proven that man is an animal really that likes to imitate. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said in chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, Yat Yat Acharati Shrestha. That means whoever is a well-known person or established person, we tend to imitate that person. And he is the one who sets the standards for all of us then to follow in life. So it is just natural for human beings to have someone to look up to. We need someone to look up to. It makes our life easier. So who are the sort of role models we have today? Usually they are the ones that the media projects. I think you all would agree. But also we must remember that all of us are role models. We start off, usually the parents are the role models for the children. And then if you're a teacher or a professional, person who's training, all of us are role models to someone somewhere in our lives. So we actually have a huge responsibility that we bear, and we must be very careful how we act in the world. So we are all role models, and who should be our role model? Who is what we call an ideal role model? Now, if we don't stand for something in life, we will fall for everything. We must keep that in mind. Now, for example, in education, I was a physiotherapist, and I was very clear that I wanted to accomplish certain things in physiotherapy. So, and when I was studying, we had our teachers who guided us and trained us, and they became our role models. In school, you have role models. So that's how you learn, you train, and then you aim for something. You may not necessarily reach that ideal, but all of us have to have some ideal in life that then we reach for. Now, how do we define who is good, who is high, who is the one that we should, ideally speaking, have as our role model in our life? Who do we call Shresht? See, there are two types of great people that we can have, that we normally see in the world. One type of great person is one who puts the other person down and makes himself higher. He makes himself greater. That also we see in this world. They put the other person down and they make themselves higher. But who's the other one? The other one is, he himself is great, but he lifts the other people at a much higher level. So we will see that around in our lives. So that is the person who we should have. What are the qualities that we should aspire for? Or what are the qualities that we would normally see in such role models? Somebody who is loving, somebody who accepts everyone as they are without judging any person. Someone who is honest, who does not appear as something and is actually something else, who's not a hypocrite. He presents himself the way he or she is. Someone who is completely fearless. There should be no fear. We must do something without any hesitation. We must be proud of what we do. We must have a feeling for the other person. Think about the other person's viewpoint. Those are the sort of ideals that we look up to when we see in another person. And those are therefore the ideals that we need to follow in our lives. What do we look up to in a person? Normally when we look up, we look at the age of a person. So usually in our culture till date, we do honor and respect people who are older than us. That is always there. So we'll always respect. We look at age. We look at position, power, fame. Those are the things we look at. We look at money. This is how humans look. Then we would also look at the knowledge of the person. And then we would look, is the person virtuous or not? Usually in today's day and age, what do we see? That a person who is in power, who's got the money, the fame, they are the ones usually who are looked up to. And the moment they fall, like we have seen now in the recent past, for some reason or the other, everyone starts pointing fingers. So also it is obviously who the media projects. Without knowing, actually, we should realize the role. It's a very big responsibility the media shoulders, and we must be careful. Either we must know the limitations of what is projected, and therefore we must not get biased by that. We must keep our own intelligence clear and know who we should have as a role model. In India, we are very examples that we can be inspired. First, I would like to take, we were talking, Bhagwan himself, for example, Sri Ramji. He was able to inspire monkeys to accomplish something which was completely unheard of. They could cross, they could fight the battle against humans, and humans of great, you can call them Ravanas, you can call them Asuras or whatever, but they were humans of great strength and valor. These are monkeys who cannot even remain focused on one task at a time without getting distracted by food requirements. And here he was able to empower them in such a way that they could accomplish the impossible. So that is what an ideal person is. These are the qualities we must look for when we have an ideal person we look at. Then now you look at who is there on every note of ours in India? Mahatma Gandhi ji. What was he before he found his ideal in life? He had no ideal when he went first to South Africa. Once he got his ideal, he completely transformed. See, that is also the power of having an ideal in life. And it should be an ideal which is not a selfish ideal also. Swami Tejamananji, who is the present head of the organization, very powerful saying of Swamiji's, an altar in life alters your life. Who is that altar that we look up to? Who is that altar that we worship? That is important in our life. If the right altar is there in our life will get altered and will definitely change for the better. So we need to reflect on what is that we look up to in our lives. And maybe we need to change direction, because very often people say, no, we've got enough time, But I was hearing the general chit-chat before the thing started, and then we realized that there's not much time left. We need to move fast. We have a lot to accomplish in life, and life is not just about living for, the bare necessities. You realize after a certain point the limitations of all your material comforts, how much they can give you. You can get a lot of money, but how much happiness, how much joy you get. How much joy will you get when you all go for the diabetes care? When you see the people benefiting from that? Is that more satisfying than going on the Sunday and spending the day in the club and having breakfast or lunch with a group of friends? What is it that will give us more satisfaction? The camp. Yes, so that is something which inspires. And if that slowly, why are there clubs like Rotary, and why are there spiritual organizations as well? Just so that we realize that there is something higher in life that we need to accomplish. We need to do something much more than just be self-centered. So first, we start off by looking at ourselves. Then as we grow, we look at the family. Then maybe we look at the immediate society or people in the buildings staying around us. Then we look at the city. Then we start looking at the country. And then we become true global citizens, where we look at life as a whole and how we can contribute to humanity. And I think that is where it is important that we all need to think and reflect, who is that ideal that we have in our life? What is our altar that we worship in life, and where is our goal? Only when Mahatma Gandhi ji got his ideal could he change. Could he become an inspiration for the entire country? And today he is an inspiration for the entire world community. We all know that. So it makes a big difference when we have that ideal. What about another very common example used is our ex-president, who's no more, Dr. Abdul Kalam. Has he not inspired everyone, whether they are young or old? He's one of the few presidents in the recent times who has really inspired all of us. And it doesn't matter who, everyone looks up to him to date and is inspired by reading his books or listening to his talks, or just meeting him used to be such a joy and pleasure and privilege. So that also was because he had a higher vision in his life. He didn't worry about, I have to eat, sleep, I have to make money. No, his vision was to get India on a certain goal, to get that goal achieved for the nation. That was all that he worried about. And he accomplished. So we need to gain inspiration from such people. We need to find people with value and substance in our lives who we can gain inspiration from. And I know you said that usually role models are associated with the younger group, but I feel that we are always young. We never feel, actually within us, we never feel old. You always say that when I was in school, and you know the younger people say, when you were in school and your parents, and they look at you with disbelief, but you never feel like that, you know, you always, when you have a get-together of your school friends or something, it feels so nice. So we are always growing in life, and we must never forget that what is our final goal that we need to reach in life. It is definitely not just being satisfied materially and satisfying our sense pleasures. That's not something that's going to take us very far. We need to be able to serve community. And why do we serve community? Why would you want to go actually and serve community? Why would you go for the diabetes camp? If you actually reflect, you go only because it's a purely selfish reason. You don't go for anyone else. If you go, it's incorrect. You go because you get joy out of it. You get satisfaction. You feel good. You feel that you spent a few good hours doing something useful. You contributed positively in some way. Now, I would like to say something about myself. That I had a passion, and that was to know something about what was higher in life. First, I started as a physiotherapist. And I would have probably just remained as a physiotherapist. And why did I become a physiotherapist? Because as most medical professionals, I did get into medicine in JJ Hospital. And I refused to take that. I was happier by then. I knew what this profession was, and I felt I would rather change. This is a very popular saying amongst us physios. I would rather change the quality of a person's life than the quantity of the person's life. So here we actually have to interact at a length with patients, and so that was what inspired me to do what I chose. And then as I did more and more, I realized that I needed to do something more than just treating people physically, and I felt that I had found the ideal in my life. My first role model was, of course, your first role models, whether you like it or not, are always your parents. And usually among the parents, it's the mother who is your role model. She's the one who stands up, and you learn. So we must realize, and we're all role models, how we act in today's world is because the younger generation is going to learn from us. So we need to be very careful in how we interact with people, because they are the ones who will learn from us. So my mom is one who inspired me to do something different. And that's when I got introduced to Swami Vivekananda and Mahatma Gandhi ji. And that's when I realized that life is not just making money. Today I would have been very comfortable as a physiotherapist, living comfortably wherever I want in the world, where you can get a job, any profession, and you would be most comfortable. But that's not what I wanted. And I was fortunate that I met the ideal role model for me, who was Swami Chinmayananji. He's the one when I met when I was just in school in 1984. And that's when I realized that this is what I want. My passion is to change myself. If I change myself, then only will the world change. All of us need to take that responsibility to change ourselves first. So there I found the role model. I found an ideal person, and so that is where, you see him. So you can actually, it's like someone literally solidifies in front of you. Your ideal, when it solidifies in front of you, it's so much easier. You can enjoy that more. You can remain inspired all through. So then it becomes easier. Yes, we were discussing that, why can't you remain inspired by God? But God is still at an abstract level. It's so much easier to know a person, and you can get inspired by that right person. And even in today's day and age, we do have such people. So I found him, the ideal role model. Most magnanimous, loving, caring, knew the richness of the culture, did not hesitate to share that with the world, did not feel ashamed to say that I'm an Indian and I'm a Hindu. Like today we feel ashamed, never hesitated to say that. And today we should. Whatever we are is something that we have received as a gift from the Lord, whether you are Hindu, Christian, it doesn't matter. But we should be proud of what we are and follow that. study it, understand what it means to be that, and live it completely and fully. And then I suddenly saw that passion of mine, which was to study the scriptures, to live the scriptures, became me full time. So I got the opportunity of joining Chinmay Mission, and everyone told me that, what are you doing? You're leaving physiotherapy, you're sacrificing this, and you're living overseas, and you're coming back, and you're going to the villages. How can you sacrifice something like that? But no one understood. For them, it looked like a sacrifice. For me, it was a sacrifice to stay away from what I wanted to do. This was my passion. This was my calling. So I had to do it. So that is why it is important that once we have found that ideal, we must follow it. That is why fearlessness is an important character. If you are afraid, how will you follow your passion? You'll always think, what will that person think? What will they say? How can I do this? How will I manage tomorrow? Where is my income going to be? I was not even earning 5,000 rupees when I went there. And what do I need actually for survival? You just need something, and I'm staying in an ashram. So I don't even need food, I just need some clothes, that's it. So when that fear factor goes, when you drop that fear, and when you're very clear what your vision in life is and what you want to accomplish, then no one can stop you. And then one must work completely focused on that goal and not hesitate. No, what will they say? How can I do this? I'm like now everyone is going for this diabetes camp. It may be today diabetes, something else tomorrow. You must not think that how will I help? How can I serve? I can't. Whatever we are capable of, we can do. Whether it is manning a table or it is putting those white cloths up, everything is important and everyone counts at that time. Even sometimes it may be just taking a cup of tea to the doctor who's been working for so many hours looking after the patients. He will thank you for being so thoughtful, because we have the energy to run around and do that, and they are busy seeing the patients. So we must have a higher ideal in life, then only will our life transform. So there are 2-3 takeaways from here. We must assess who is our role model today in our lives. That role model should be much higher than us. It may be an ideal we might never reach, but if we aim for the sky, we may reach the rooftops. So let us aim high. Let us not be fearful. Let us be completely fearless and go for the goal. And let us find people who we can be inspired from. Introduce them to people around. Let us in turn become inspired people and inspire people around us. I know many of you personally, I've heard of some of you, I know many personally, I know that you are all very inspiring people. But the more we change and the more we improve, the better it is for the nation, and the better people around us can learn from us. So I know that things are running late here, so I will not take too much more time. I would just like to end by saying that let us learn to change to become inspired ideals for those around, and let us in turn become inspired by people around who can inspire us to serve this great nation of ours. Let us be proud about who we are and where we belong, and let us not feel sorrowful about that. So with that, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them if I know the answer. And all of you are much more senior in age than me, so I'm sure you would be the role models for me rather than the other way. So thank you for patiently listening to my chatter. Hari Om.
You are dealing with the neurophysiotherapy.
Yes.
Enlighten us, what is neuro? We do neurophysiotherapy for the knee pain or frozen shoulder. We do all this. What is neurophysiotherapy?
See, when I was in Australia, I worked in 2-3 areas. Neurophysiotherapy is anything usually to do with the brain. So we normally dealt with that. So for a few years, I worked in the traumatic brain injury unit. Out there, it was very well organized. We had separate rehab units. So I would have a patient staying in the hospital with me for 2 to 3 months. If they've had a stroke and the left side of the body or the right side of the body is paralyzed, so my role as a physiotherapist would be to exercise them and to get them back on their feet as much as possible. Someone may have a traumatic brain injury due to a gunshot wound or due to a car accident. overseas gunshot wounds are very common. Even among the prisoners and all that, they would fight, and you know what it can be in US as well. And even car accidents, because high speed car, you're moving at very high speed and you have a brain injury. So that's where a whole team effort is required. So we have the physiotherapist, the rehab specialist, the occupational therapist, the psychologist, the social worker. Everyone works together, and almost 24 hours, even the nursing staff, the whole patient's life is structured so that either in their activities of daily living or in everywhere we are exercising them so that they become as independent as possible. And if a doctor told me that this patient may never walk and go back, I would get more inspired and always make sure that that patient walked and went home. I didn't care what the age of the patient was. She could be 70, 80. I had many such patients. There was one who had a tumor in the head, and now he is taking care of acres of property, and he's got I don't know how many dairy, and he's not very stable because his cerebellum was, the part which manages the balance was affected. But we did a lot of research also, which is also used by NASA when the astronauts come down. They can't immediately start walking, so they harness them on a treadmill and they do partial weight bearing. And then, so we did a lot of research, and then we guided patients how to walk as normally as possible. So we get back patients to normalcy, those who are affected physically, and sometimes your speech gets affected. So that's where the speech therapist role will come, or the psychologist, because you are not able to express. You can't speak sometimes, and you get depressed as well, due to the car accidents or gunshot wounds or whatever. So that's the role of the, and actually this is a very, it's not easy because it takes a lot of you emotionally. You have to be very patient when you handle such patients. You don't get results overnight, like a knee, just do a knee surgery and then physiotherapy and the patient is walking. It's not that easy. Any other questions?
Be able to use your knowledge of learning to get ready to working in a spiritual level you are working.
See, your question is, if I'm clear, am I able to use my knowledge?
What you have learned
Yes.
in a spiritual matter you have got.
See, knowledge should always teach you how to think. And I'm very glad that when I was in KEM hospital, I had very good lecturers and professors who taught us how to think. You don't necessarily need to mug up everything. And even when I went to Australia, I did my master's by research. So I just didn't, sit and study everything by heart and vomit it out and give an exam. So what I found is that in my studies, I was taught how to think logically, how to think carefully. And that today is definitely helping me in my role. And this is where my role as, if I would have remained a physiotherapist, I would have just been seeing people. But now, you can ask Hinduja ji all the different areas that we deal with in Chinmay Mission worldwide. It can be law, it can be accounts, it can be audio, what is good sound, how to take a good video, how to edit a video, how to maintain archives, you name it, and we have to learn. So I feel that if you have an ideal, you get empowered to achieve that ideal. And how you get empowered is you see grace of Bhagwan, and it happens. Because you are not capable, but you become empowered because of the belief that you have that you can do it. And that belief comes from day one. It doesn't matter what you study. If you have a belief in yourself, you can accomplish what you want and you can get empowered. You allow yourself to become empowered there.
Thank you.
Yes, he is my role model. See, Hanumanji is the perfect sevak. He never thinks about himself. Never. First thing, if he wanted to find who Sitaji was, where Sitaji was. Now see, he had to be reminded about his powers. He didn't even know. So only when he was told that you came across that he did it. And also he was told very clearly that don't go and bring her back. What? See, that is where clarity of thinking is required. He could have easily gone and brought Sitaji back. Ramji was not required for that. It was an easy job. But his job was to find her. The job of bringing Sitaji back was only Ramji's. So he went and did that. And he was so excited when he saw her. That was the one mistake he made, was that he went in that small form in front of Sita ji. And so she said, you can, and Ramji has such an army of monkeys like you, and you all will be able to, beat the Asuras. Then he became his normal self, and then she realized, oh, okay, now I have faith. And he was able to convince Sita ji that Ramji remembers you. So he was able to give that message to her, And he never ate, he was hungry. He never stopped for rest. He never ate till he accomplished his job. So that single pointedness was there. Plus he had the clarity of what he needed to do. And then after that also, he took her permission that may I eat from the fruits from the trees. And she told him, see again how we think, that you can only eat the fruits that are on the ground. You can't take them from the trees. But he's a little mischievous, right, by nature. So he goes and shakes all the trees. The fruits fall down, and so he eats those fruits. So he listened. So, and then again, when he's caught and his tail, again, why did he do that? That's what they have been sending, the first example of surgical strike. He did a complete, what you can say, a Reiki of Sri Lanka, so that he would know what is there, what is the might of the Asuras, so that they would be better prepared to fight. Their army would be better prepared. So he was very focused. And even when he went to Ramji, and he always said that the only reason I could accomplish this was because Bhagwan's name was on me. He never got proud of it. He never attributed any success to himself. He said it was only his grace and his memories that carried me forward. That is some point that he never ever forgot. Even when he went to Bhagwan Ramji and he told him that this is it, and Ramji picked him up and he hugged him and he embraced him. And he said, I can never thank you enough. And he said, please don't say anything like that. Because he always remained humble. And these are the few points we need to learn from Hanumanji. Humility, clarity of thinking, knowing the vision that he had to accomplish. All those things are very clear from Hanumanji. And fearless and strong.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a stimulating speech. I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Kailash Khemlani. Mr. Kailash, please rise and recognize yourself. The brother of Dr. Manisha. And Mrs. Deepna, she's from the legal department of Chinmay Trust. Ma'am, please rise and recognize yourself. Thank you very much for joining us for the program today. Now, we have talked a lot about medical, and we have few people are doctors over here. So I would now request Dr. K.K. Mehta to please present her certificate of appreciation from our side as a gift. The sectorial announcements and the monthly program is there at the desk. Request all of you to please collect a copy of it. It will help in having the addresses and other things of the various medical diabetes camp. I will now invite Mrs. Maya Hinduja to please give a vote of thanks.
Friends, our young speaker today has proved that children have a mind of their own. Parents put in their best to make her a physiotherapist, but she followed to where her heart was. Chinmayanand